Welcome everyone to yet another ARCWARE Spotlight and another ARCWARE webinar. Today we have a very special guest because this man traveled across international borders to be here today. Well, he crossed the border yesterday, but Mao from Mascotte AI has joined us today. Mao works on the whole topic of digital humans. We think that is a super exciting field because he combines both AI and the Unreal Engine and then turns that into a flawless customer or user experience, which is combining a lot of very interesting fields. On top of that, he works with a lot of public sector clients, which is a completely different ballgame than working with corporates, like we discussed last week with our friends from BizLogic. And yeah, we're just really happy that you're here. We're trying to keep things between within measures when it comes to the duration of today's webinar, which let's say we can try and keep it to 60 minutes. That would be nice. But obviously we're here to create and give you fantastic content. So if it turns into 90 minutes, that's what happens. But we obviously want to make sure we stick to the point. Manos, who is today at Unreal Fest, still wanted to chime in and say hi to everyone. Manos, of course, as everyone knows, is our co-founder and head of Unreal Engine, which means that he is the person who's helping you when you guys get stuck with your applications or with uploading everything and optimizing your Unreal Engine packages for pixel streaming to very different skills. Manos is always there. As always, find him on Discord. He'll help you with anything. I'm pretty sure that he would help you upload things correctly, even if he's under an anesthetic while going through a root canal. He is that committed to everything. I also want to, by the way, highlight that we have our honorary guest outside of Mao, Yasmin, who has been here now for at least 6 webinars, which is the record I checked. So super happy to have you on board, Yasmin. Always nice to see someone who is this dedicated to things that we do. So awesome. Then outside of that, so today we really want to make sure that we have a nice interactive experience. We don't want this to turn into show and tell. So drop all of your questions and comments in the chat. I will make sure that I will interrupt Mao whenever necessary so that we can answer your questions. And otherwise, they will come at the end. But we like to keep it sort of more like a conversation, as much as a conversation, even though Mao, of course, has a presentation to go through. So then we have all of the housekeeping. We have a small little introduction to Mao. And then the only thing that is left over to do is to get started. So Mao, feel free to take the camera.
Well, first I want to thank ARCWARE for having me here. I think it's an honor to be, to be able to show what we've been working, and I think that's important, more important than being in the Unreal Fest. So I want to get it out. So happy to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, where do I start? I mean, are we transition to the slides?
Let's do that.
Yeah. So some of you might know me from different names. Some people know me from Replica. Some people know me from Rubium. But today we all talk about Mascotte. I think that's kind of like make it clear. Before I'm going to the technical details, I think I should introduce myself a little bit and talk about what my background is and why I'm so inspired to create digital humans. And maybe while I'm doing that, give you a glimpse of the future. So yeah, let's start with the first. Who am I? Actually, I'm born in China, and I was actually moved to the Netherlands in 1986. And in the past, I always thought the Netherlands was the country of the cowboys. So I assume there is mountains and cowboys, but a lot of cows, but no cowboys. So I was pretty devastated, and knowing that there's no cowboys and my favorite heroes, I started to do a lot of sketching. I think that's the way for me to process my disappointment, I would say. And I think I become pretty good at it and start to become a quite talented artist, I think. I work in the past with Sony, Guerrilla Games. I work on the Horizon titles. That's on PlayStation 4 and 5. But also I had a chance to meet the man himself, Jackie Chan. So imagine when you're 25, you met Jackie Chan and you work on AAA games. I think That was really one of the highlights of my life. And after that, it's just going down. No, just kidding. It's only getting better. Yeah, some of you might know me from a project, a very special project. It's called Project Sweetie, and it's a more than 10 years old project. But I think people should know why this is irrelevant. One day I was approached by an agency in Amsterdam. They call Lamps. I think they asked me to create a Filipino girl, and very specifically the age of 12. First, I denied and said, "Why should I do this?" But then I figured out soon it was for an NGO, and they convinced me this has a very special meaning. But very important to know that actually after I finished the project, I had to lay low for 6 months, and I could not talk with anyone about this project. Because if you know what the impact is, this girl was actually. Sorry, I think we need to have switched to audio.
Yeah, let's switch to the audio.
So I'm going to show you a short movie about what this project is about, because that's much better justice than me explaining in my broken English. So, yeah.
My name is Sweetie. I'm 10 years old. I live in the Philippines. Every day, I have to sit in front of the webcam and talk to men, just like tens of thousands of other kids. The men ask me to take off my clothes. They play with themselves. They want me to play with myself. As soon as I go online, they come to me. 10, 100, every hour. But what they don't know, I'm not real. I'm a computer model made piece by piece to track down these men who do this.
Webcam child sex tourism is a new phenomenon that's spreading like an epidemic. Men from rich countries pay children in poor countries to perform sexual acts in front of webcams. These crimes happen tens of thousands of times each day.
So yeah, so it was a very impactful project. I think the project was used by Interpol, and they used this method. It was actually quite new, and it was not actually done before. The impact is that thousands of men are arrested around the world. And I think through this project, we make the world a safer place. And I think with as a father of two young girls, I think I'm pretty, proud of that we did this. And that's why also the project is being rewarded with 13 golden lions, as you can see in the slideshow.
Mm-hmm. So, yes. Good.
Yeah. So some people ask me how did I start with this whole digital human journey? And actually it started not the way you think, one day my wife asked me, "Hey Mao, why do you always create ugly old monsters and old men?" So wow, it's easier to exaggerate the human face because it's you don't have to be subtle. And she asked me, "Hey, why don't you create a beautiful lady?" I said, "Well, that's very hard to do and it's not what you expected, because a lot of people thought I was creating my perfect girlfriend, but it was an assignment of my wife. So now you know."
Sure.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's my excuse. I want actually to have some interactivity. So I will.
The slides.
Yeah, I love to see.
No, there's partially black screen.
I can see the slide is black.
Oh, sorry, my cable is off. I think I should be calm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
So we have some technical issues, but now we're back. I was wondering, if now you've seen Alex, the portrait that I made using 3D. Does he look like someone you know? Maybe someone can comment in the section.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to shout out the name.
Simon might know. Emma Stone, as you predicted, that was the first suggestion.
Yeah, Emma Stone. That's a good.
Let's leave up the image so that more people can guess, and then
I'll show how she's created. No.
Let's go for it. So it's not just if it's not Emma Stone.
No, actually, Emma Stone wasn't even famous at that time. So, but also have some people saying Margot, Margot Robbie.
Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also some
Oh, this I sort of see that.
yeah, but actually for the when I asked the Dutch audience, they say Chantal Jansen, which is a more a Dutch actress. But to be true, actually she's actually composed of many different faces around the celebrities around 2013. So yeah, as you can see, but it's not just like, hey, you just take the nose and eyes and then stitch them together. That was before the age of AI. So back then it was quite a thing. A very fun fact. I think I can pretty much say I'm the only guy that's been in the Playboy, not as a naked model, but I actually managed to. They reached out to me, asked me, "Hey, Mao, can we publish this as a tech column and under the topic of weird science, which is a reference to the 80s movie, right? So creating your own. So that's something I want to share with the audience. But it would that's the fun side. But I think now I want to show a bit what we're actually building at Mascotte, and it has a lot of we actually try to find some solution on the market which didn't exist. Yes, there is many avatars, you have chatbots, but there's not really like an easy self-serving service, a platform that we can go in, make a digital human, share with our client, and that's how the idea of Mascotte started. If audio allows me, I would love to show you guys a introduction video and walk you through it quickly.
Did you switch the thing too?
Let's see if the audio is switched. I think I'm still on the BMI, yeah?
Good.
Not everyone wants to be on camera. Some creators prefer to stay behind the scenes. Others want to protect their identity or avoid the risks of deep fakes. That's why we built Mascotte, a platform where you can create your own AI-powered avatar, fully customizable, completely yours, all from your browser. Whether you're a creator, educator, or a brand looking for a digital mascot, Mascotte helps you design an avatar with your voice, your vibe, your knowledge. In this short tutorial, we'll walk you through how to. First, go to mascotte.ai and sign in. Click Create, then select Character Mixer. Choose any two avatars and use the slider to blend them into your perfect match. Want to look different? Use our design editor to change your hairstyle, clothing, and facial features, or remix avatars from the community. Next, add a voice. Choose from a variety of built-in voices, or connect your own using your 11 Labs API key for a custom sound. Paste your 11 Labs API key into the settings. Use one of the built-in voices or your own cloned voice. Your avatar now speaks, just like you. Then, go to conversation mode and connect your ChatGPT key. You can upload documents, add system prompts, or fine-tune how your avatar responds. It becomes your teacher, your support agent, your digital double. In practice mode, you can test it live, type, or talk. Your avatar will respond with lifelike voice and animation. Once you're happy, hit share. Mascotte gives you a link to share or an embed code to place it on your site. Perfect for product pages, customer support, or even out-of-office replies. Mascotte helps creators and brands turn static avatars into lifelike talking characters, powered by voice and AI.
So I hope that gives you guys an overview what we offer as a Mascotte. Yeah, I don't think we have time to go over the whole technical stack, but as a but I do have like a list of what we actually have used in the process of making, if that's people are interested.
Good.
So obviously you think, hey, digital human, is it meta-human? No, this is not meta-human. We actually create our own digital human. We call it digital human, not meta-human. And I will go maybe later deeper into why we changed it. We use 11 Labs for the voice. We use ChatGPT for the demo, but it can be plugged into any LLM if you want. We did the motion capturing for the movement, and of course we use the power of ARCWARE to deploy our service around the world, which we have been so far really enjoying it. Yeah, so there's some use case I can show. A lot of things I didn't know there was people are actually hiring actors, especially at school, to do conversational training, and we found quite a few school try to use our solution so they don't have to hire actors. The teacher can create a persona which they can prompt very easily and then share that with the students. Another use case is we work with the municipality of Rotterdam, and they need a spokesperson. And the spokesperson doesn't have to be per se a male or female. It can be anything. But in this case, Erasmus is the symbol of Rotterdam, so they choose to have this historical figure recreated and become the face of Rotterdam. And he's also been in the Dutch Rotterdam Library as well, public library. And that was a very interesting use case. But we also see a lot of like hotel school using this for to create their own receptionists. And you see here, this is a workshop we had and create their own conversational partner. Yeah, and we start to see more and more people embracing our platform and using it for sometimes even use cases that we never heard before.
So this actually, I want to get in between here because on the slide that we just saw, we see a lot of educational groups or like, a tertiary educational stuff. So in the direction of universities, we see some more public stuff. And so one of the things that I think is very interesting here to touch upon is normally those aren't the first type of customers that you get.
Interesting. I got more of those customer than commercial one, and I think it's maybe the way how I talk about my platform, because I've been invited for different talks about digital human, and I think through those innovation labs, you get to know more about people are interested in your product.
Well, obviously, when once you have two or three, then suddenly the ball starts to roll, and then doors open up a little easier. But then, like, what do you do something differently when you work with commercial companies or with schools?
I think that schools they don't have a lot of budgets, and so it's usually the sales cycle is very long. So you need to have at least think about 6 to 12 months time. But in the meantime, they want to try your product for free. So you need to it's actually a no-go to charge them from day one. But you know that in the long term you'll be able to charge them. So what I'm offering usually is like a pilot for 3 months, which they know what the price should be. So you don't say it's free. You say, hey, this is pilot equivalent of this amount, but because we are happy to give you a 3-month trial, and I think that works really well for me.
All right. And how do they look at the technology? Because a lot of the times that we sell technology, we really focus on like, wow, this is so revolutionary and it's this and it's that, and we have like amazing results that come out of it. Is it differently? Do you still talk about it in that way, or do you explain more like, look, this enables you to do A, B, and C, as opposed to be able to say like, oh yes, they're great, we'll increase with 10% or whatever. Educational equivalent to we will increase revenue.
If you talk to customer, especially school, they would tell exactly what they want. So usually in customer discovery conversation, I let them do the talking. I show them and ask them, what do you think is this? And then the customer actually say, hey, I can use this for training. Oh, I can use this to share information with my students. So I often found new use case by asking them, how would you use it? And they give me actually all the insights after that.
That is a ideal situation to be.
Yeah.
So then, how does the first conversation start?
Now the conversation starts with the demo, of course.
But like, how does this, like, I mean, like, how do you set the first appointment? Who approaches who?
So usually, because I've been doing a lot of those talks, and I think that's maybe my strategy. I try to get myself in front of a lot of conferences and webinars, and people see me talking passionate about product, and then they will let me know, call me, hey, can we talk?
But that's also a very nice difference, for like, a unique opportunity for you, because the Netherlands is very small, so you can drive to anything in like hour and a half max.
Sure.
And then 50% of that is finding a parking spot. So if you were to do that in Germany, that would obviously be far more difficult, because you can't always just drive from Hamburg to Munich and from Munich to Berlin or whatever, or Cologne, whatever. So that's obviously a fantastic advantage that you have, and like having that proximity to where everyone is, it's a lot easier to also get to know everyone. It's a smaller country. So that is a unique situation you are in, I would say, or you're taking advantage of an opportunity you have.
Yeah, I think this is actually done by meeting people in real life. It's not like, hey, here's the website, come to here, and I found the most. Sometimes I'm doing a talk, and then I heard nothing from a customer, but 1 or 2 years later, sometimes they come, hey, I remember you from this talk, and then they reach out again. So sometimes conversion comes later, and not directly. So.
I think that's exactly like you're mentioning two very important points here from my perspective. The first one is just stick to it, because the thing is that people cannot find you because if you don't stick at it long enough. Because if not everyone has a need to buy today, so if they have a need to buy in 6 months or a year and a half, then they need to have that opportunity.
Well, you're right, and I think as an example, my presentation just now, it's just a very brief version, but hopefully you guys got to remember, hey, that's the guy who worked with Jackie Chan. That's the guy who is in the Playboy, even though they have nothing to do with this topic, but it is a smart way to memorize who you see here. So maybe next time you see the Playboy, you think about me. That's a really bad.
Yes, that is.
I don't think it's a good example, but you know what I mean. So
yes,
that's how I think that's the tip I can give to anyone else. Try to not approach it as a sales. Try to make it more personal.
Oh yes, and so that brings me to the second point that you mentioned, which is it's a people's business, right? Because in all fairness, like you offer a service, especially in the beginning when you first started. Like now, obviously, you're talking about it more in a platform perspective, but you offer a service, and buying and selling services is such a people's thing. Like it doesn't matter what the product is, of its marketing services, sales, or IT outsourcing. All of this is very much it's a people's business, and so you need to be out there. You need to be seen. You need to meet people, and I think that especially here in the immersive technologies, the VR, the pixel streaming, the whatever have you, we are so keen to be stuck where we are. And so somehow I feel like we are very comfortable actually attending webinars. This is also why we started these. And a specific other pixel streaming platform that remains nameless, who apparently I have heard today even started to use our own webinar platform. They started using it themselves. That they are copying this now. But I think that actually going to the trade shows is super important, giving the speeches, meeting people in real life, because I think that it's on the one hand the technology that needs to be experienced. And so at a trade fair, at a convention, that's super easy, or it's a lot easier to give that experience than just saying like, hey, I'm going to pay for traffic, advertise on Google, send 2,000 people here over a period of a long time, because the demand isn't inherently there, but the use cases are plentiful. And so when you talk to someone, you say like, hey, I do something you didn't know that exists. They're like, hey, I'm curious because you seem like a nice person, so tell me about it. And then suddenly the ball starts to roll. And I think that's very important in a situation when you don't have the same level of demand as with, for instance, like IT outsourcing, where people say, well, we have 20 people working in IT, but we need 25, but we don't have the budget. So let's find someone nice in Poland, Ukraine, whatever. Like it's a very different, like they know what it is that they need. And here they don't have, we want to achieve something, but we don't know which technology to use, or how to find, or who the person is that can offer that.
Yeah, it's a people business, as you're saying. Like we're I'm a business is creating digital human, but at the same time, people feel like, hey, how can you make this business a bit not so dystopian? That is the hardest thing for me to communicate. And at the same time, I say, yeah, I want to be human. And at the same time, I'm trying to sell something that is actually, not so human.
That is a fantastic conundrum. So, shall we go back to the slides?
maybe if I have more slides. I think that's the last slide I have.
Oh, are we really?
Yeah.
Are we through the slides?
Yeah.
We have the conversational training and then, all right, fantastic. So then I would like to open the floor to the audience to ask questions. I'm sure there are plenty of questions because I think that Mao and I could sit in a bar, talk tall tales about the Sweetie project alone, which, by the way, you got one nice applause from Peter, who unfortunately already left. But we have the Sweetie project. We have the current Mascotte platform, and plenty of other things that I think we could touch upon. So if you have any questions, I have plenty, so I'll just get started. But if you have any, please drop them in the chat. Because one of the things that I find very interesting is, like we talked about already, the public sector clients. We actually went through a lot of these questions. So that's fantastic. I always love it when people's presentations actually answer all of the important questions, because it means it's a good presentation and it's not boring. So then one of the things that I find very interesting about your Mascotte, I don't want to call it the project, that belittles it, but one of the things that you were saying to me is that you were going to create an ecosystem around it. So can you kind of explain to the audience what it is that you offer exactly today, how your customers can use that, and how you want to build that ecosystem around it so that anyone can contribute if they want to?
Yeah, I mean, I think before we I think any big platform, not that I'm comparing myself with the big guys, but I think you need to either provide some kind of entertainment or solve a problem. And I hope we can do both, because I found that a lot of users actually enjoying just come to our platform and spend easily like hours on creating an avatar. And what's the goal? There's no goal. It's just pure entertainment. And I see, but the one of the I found really nice utility that we have is be able to share the avatar in a very easy way. In not talking about all the platform, but it was very hard for me to, when I try the competition, to share something without know how to code. And I found that by making it simpler, simplify the whole thing, make it easier for people to share is the key for use cases. But then if you go back to the whole ecosystem, I actually, right now, what we have right now is, I think, really the 1.0. And what I really want to encourage is more creators coming to our platform, creating basically a AI avatars or spokesperson or representative for themselves that they can put on the website, and that's one thing. But there's also other half of the people that come to us and actually want to create something new. That's maybe a face that is not on our platform. And I really want to.
So would that even be possible that someone could actually scan their face and then it would?
Exactly.
So could you get into that a little bit more so that people understand how that would work?
Yeah. So we don't want to say use something called photo to avatar. That means that everyone can take your photo and can clone you and put on our website. That's not what we want. So we really want to verify you. It's you and authenticity. So the process is a bit lengthy, but it's absolutely worth it, because we're gonna digitize you using a 3D scanner or through a phone. These days is perfectly fine. It uses biometric data of you, and then we verify, make sure that no one can touch it, and then create your likeness based on the scan data, and then that avatar is only belong to you.
So then, for instance, if I if I may poke fun at certain coaching businesses that are sprouting up left and right these days, because I believe we have more coaches than people who want to be coached. So let's say that, because the question originates from Simon, and so let's say Simon has a buddy, right? Because everyone has a buddy who wants to be a coach, and so Simon would he would contact you, and he would say, like, look, I have all of the content that I have, all of the coaching information that I want to have. I have 12 different cliches, and I want to put them into the AI. And then the only thing that's missing, I have a buddy, and I need to scan his body so that he can, just like we give you that information, you scan him, we build the avatar of my buddy, And then with the 12 cliches that are my teachings, I can create a coach so that whenever my people need more information and more skills to trade crypto, then we can get going and become rich tomorrow. That's all completely possible.
That's completely possible. I mean, there was a point that I think there was a CEO that got killed because of some bad stuff. And imagine, I think after that, a lot of CEOs don't want to be public. And I think this could be a use case to not use a incognito or what I would call an avatar to represent you. Actually, I created myself and to see how that works. And I found it really funny that I could go to holiday and knowing that people can talk to my avatar. And actually, I can come back and say, oh, it almost worked like a voicemail. And I found it really funny. Yeah.
So that's a good question. If you compare it to voicemail, do people talk to digital you?
Yeah, because of course, they cannot answer all my. To be honest, my avatar cannot answer everything because it can only answer what I put in as far, nothing privately.
Now my question is, can you answer everything?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think so. But I probably my AI avatar is smarter than me because it's powered by LLMs that knows more about internet than me. So
that's fair.
So it's a balance. Yeah.
So yes, so let's then, because we are talking about, so how do you create the avatars right now? Because we know that's possible that with the biometric scans and stuff.
Yeah.
And so what do you use now, and why did you not use Epic's MetaHuman, which is now being promoted like crazy?
Yeah, so Epic has a very good product with MetaHuman, and I love it. But there is things in the end user agreement, the EULA, that really give me creeps. And as soon as you go have to scale up, there's some things you cannot do. For example, you cannot take this to Unity or the other platform. They forbidden certain things that that I think it will kill my business in the future. So having that how do you call this dependency, it's not a really a good idea. So since I already developed avatars since 2016, and we have a library, and actually, to be honest, originated this product called Metaface, and then Epic came out with MetaHuman. So we actually been slammed in our face. Okay, now we have to change the name. We work on exactly the same product at the same time, but of course we are the second. So yeah.
That's actually a fantastic point because last time when we had Fatih and Pascal here from BizLogic, we got the question for someone in the audience who said like, hey, so where do you get all of your digital assets from, like the trees and stuff to make the infrastructure things? And Fatih's answer was, dude, I've been doing this for 10 years. I have such a massive library, and it's exactly the same with you. So then what would be your tip to people who are starting off now or like slowly getting into it, who do not have a library that goes back 10 years?
Of course, you can these days buy scanned data from a marketplace like Fab, and it's perfect fine if you want to create an MVP. But over time, when you have such a vast library, I think that is kind of your IP, right? So if you don't use your IP, that's it's the waste of your time. But yeah, to go back to your question, what can they do? Go use Fab, go use marketplace, and there's nothing shame about that,
Fair enough. I also think that when it comes to dealing with customers right now, they are perfectly happy with an MVP as long as it then also matures enough.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. So if you don't have something, like, the thing is, you and I see the difference between an MVP and a finished product, but your client probably doesn't, because there's these really small nuances. Like, there's a difference between creating a product and creating art, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people who really love their profession, they get so sucked into certain details. I totally would not talk about today's operator today about this in any way, shape, or form, because this perfectionism is such a difficult thing, because you want to create art, but you get paid to produce a product. And so, in all fairness, if you have a nice product through things like that you bought through the Fab store, that's perfectly fine, because you created something of value. You just didn't create something that gives you that satisfaction of creating fantastic art.
Yeah. I want to add something on top of that, because I think we spoke about this, but I think it's kind of like a good analogy. So I heard this from a talk somewhere, and someone said, hey, do you know the inventor of the fridge? And actually, no one remember who invented the fridge. But without a fridge, there would be no Coca-Cola. But everyone remember Coca-Cola, and it's kind of like with the whole asset thing. So it's not about the technology that you use. It's about the story you're telling. I think that's what we are forgetting about. To leave a deep impression, you need to craft a story that people will still remember you.
So then that takes me to get you back on track about the ecosystem stuff, because one of the things that I find interesting is that, so basically, we have the Fab Store, we have all sorts of things. You've created tons of different avatars for Mascotte already, and then what you're trying to do is, because people want that personalization, and they might want to have an avatar that you haven't created yet. What you told me a few weeks ago, because Mao and I occasionally hang out. He, by the way, knows fantastic ramen places if you ever in need. So if you work with Mao and you need a nice ramen place, he can hook you up. But you were telling me that people could build the avatars that they could build avatars to sell to add to the Mascotte platform and then sell them to whoever needs that avatar.
I think that there's for example, if maybe I'm not famous, I don't want to use my face on my platform. But if you are like a celebrity, if you're someone who's actually have a face that is a public figure, then you want to monetize that. And for example, we create a celebrity and did some tests, because I found that but after interviewing many people don't want to talk to nobodies. They want to talk to people who are actually, it's famous. And that's why you see Messi has so much opportunity, because he's famous. His face means king, and I think that there's not really a maybe there's a platform that you can easily clone and multiply him in a way, and I think we try to facilitate that. But I think the original creator should also benefit from this transaction. So that's kind of the part of the ecosystem we try to create as well.
And so how could someone get started?
So if you can be we call it a ambassador, and you can be a creator. Ambassador is someone who actually talk about us, and we can the more business you bring in, we reward you with actually a commission. But you can also be a creator. That means you can create assets like clothing and scan data that you can license through our platform. And right now it's not live. We only do it with select group of people, because we don't want to kind of, not saying we want QA the beginning. So right now we if people are interested, let me know. We can talk about it.
Very good. So then I would like to ask the audience again if you have any questions, because my list is running dry. So I have another question from Simon, or Simon, if it's Clément at the end. This sounds like a great option for character creation tools in general. Would it be viable to have, say, 5 of them in a scene at once, or is the performance cost too high?
I didn't talk about this, but if you go to the Mascotte, you can actually create an avatar for free. There's also an option to export the avatar. And when it's exported, where there's actually 2 options. One is to create an optimized version, and one is not optimized. And that's something I would highly recommend people to try. So technically, you can have multiple avatars if your system can handle it. But we give you the option to choose.
And so having 5 of them at once is in a scene, does that work?
Yeah.
Does it? All right.
Yeah.
Then one of the things I actually find very interesting is that because you use so many tools, one of them being ARCWARE. And so my question to you is that we have a lot of people who think that this new technology is scary because of the cost structure. Because obviously pixel streaming requires servers to render the information or render the graphics before they're being accessed. And so one of the things that I find rather interesting about your, so how do you do that with Mascotte? Because what happens is that, because we didn't really talk about some of Mao's other clients, but I know that we've previously also facilitated customer support digital humans. And
actually, I can talk about. So there's 2 really great projects we did together. One's for the Dutch police. We actually hosted the entire metaverse there. And I think not a lot of people know about that because it was only used inside the internet. But yeah, the speed and everything was making it so much nicer. And talking about the cost, so I also thought the cost would be too much, and I couldn't believe the bills end of the month. Actually, it's actually not that high, because, and that's also the reason why I offer our Mascotte for free. Imagine if we have pixel stream cost plus the how can we offer this for free? Because the cost is not that high as people imagine, and I can give you guys some numbers if you want. It's less than what you pay in a month in Amsterdam for rent.
Yeah.
So if you look up, then you know. Yeah.
Well, I think by decent margin even.
Yeah.
I'm very scared when I look
Yeah.
when I hear prices for friends.
And I think I can tell you why, because we did some before I actually launch. That's maybe a good startup tip. Please test this with your user. So we before we even build out the entire platform, we build some tracking tools. We track how long the user are spending, how per session, how many times they come back every month. So we know all this information that they actually spend maximum 10 minutes per session, and they only come maybe back maybe every day 2-3 times. So, and not every day. So if you really build something that's is scalable, then you need to have a lot of user. So maybe 10% will create a lot of traffic, but most of them I'm not gonna break the bank.
I think also your product, the goal is for someone to be on there as short as possible, because especially with like a customer support or like if I have a question and I need an answer, the faster I get the answer, the better.
Yeah.
So if you do your job correct, what happens is that if they spend 2 minutes on it, that's already a long time, because if I am looking for an information on if I look for the return policy when I buy a pair of shoes and it takes me 2 minutes, I'm pretty disappointed.
Sure. It really depends on the use case, and indeed, some might need to spend a bit more. We also see some really like extreme, like people spending half an hour, but of course we can build in idle like a timeout. We also build like a screensaver that when the avatar is not doing anything, it's actually a image maybe loop. So save a bit cost,
Yes, hey, you got to honor the small things in life as well. So then we have a new question from Roberto, which is it possible to connect a deep search and have it tell the summary?
So I haven't talked about that. We actually have an API. So if you want to connect your own LLM or any backend we can actually use the API to send just text to our avatar, and then our avatar just talk, say what you want. So technically, you can connect to Llama, DeepSeek, or anything. I don't know if that's the question.
Roberto, can you tell us what you mean with deep search? Just so that we make sure that we answer your question and that you haven't waited for 45 minutes for nothing.
Or you talk about deep search, the OpenAI deep search.
I only see the deep search, so I was hoping that this was your area of expertise. So
OpenAI have a special when you look up ask a question, you can have a short question, but you can also deep search, which means you can do a very long, extensive research about a certain topic.
Yeah, I think this is what Roberto means.
So,
but if it isn't the case, Roberto, tell us and we will start all over again and we make sure you get your answer. So then I would like to know more questions if we have them. What I do find interesting otherwise is that you really sell this essentially as like a platform as a service, SaaS as a service, because which is different from how you build custom projects. So is this different in how you approach customers? Is this different in how you do these things? Because on the one hand, you would expect that this would be completely self-service. At the other hand, we know from experience that this is a people's business, so you need to really talk with people. So how does that currently work from at least the business and the tech side?
So I can say that the Mascotte is kind of like our business card, like visite card for business card. Because once they get to know the platform, they start to think, hey, but what can I connect this to my school system? Can I connect this to my CRM? So the vanilla, the basic version, it's free and they are allowed to experiment. But once they actually need to connect to the backend, that's actually where we're doing a piece of consultancy, where we actually that's also maybe one way to upsell your service is by providing the basic for a affordable price, but then anything above that, you charge the normal price.
Yes, of course, for expertise,
Yeah.
people need to pay. And if you want a custom solution, you get a custom price.
Exactly.
Something that freelancers sometimes not feel comfortable asking for, but that's how these things work. So, first of all, thank you for being this concise, because it means that I am currently in the problem of being able to not have enough questions from the audience, because normally it always kind of takes a little bit of time. And I am running out of questions, which means that there is a chance we might actually keep this within the hour, which is good for the number of people who are actually sticking around.
Yeah.
So I would please like to ask everyone to ask their questions now, or to ask them to Mao after the webinar, because obviously we have shared your LinkedIn profile plenty of times. I think you're pretty easy to spot by these days.
Yeah, there's only one Mao in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam.
That is also very easy. So then, if there are no other questions and nothing to discuss from the audience, then it's time to start wrapping this up. With which I would like to thank Andy with helping us as the moderator today, to making sure that we switch to the right camera whenever we do. And then obviously I want to thank Mao for dropping by, making the journey. And
Always.
I want to thank all of you for joining us today. I do have a few things that I want to ask you if you haven't already, because one of the reasons why we do these webinars is to make pixel streaming more accessible. We want people to know about it, and we want people to know that it isn't nearly as scary to get started with as that some people think it is. And so we would love your help with this mission. So if you ever see a post of ours on LinkedIn, like it, comment, even just whatever random emoji comment will do a lot. If you have anything to discuss about pixel streaming, do it on the Reddit that we built. There's a subreddit, which is reddit.com/r/pixel streaming. We really want to build this thing up because we have tons of, we make it a massive reach there, and we really want people to have a nice platform where, regardless of us starting it, that everyone can contribute there. Go back to attend more webinars, super important. Mao is going to share his screen for a quick second here. Also check out, of course, the Mascotte.ai website. That's exactly the URL, so everything is easy peasy here.
Yeah.
And what do we do else? Open your emails when we send them, please. I know we might spam a bit when it comes to the webinar invites, but the most successful companies in the world are the biggest spammers, as a friend of mine once said, and I think that's very on point, unfortunately. Then, thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you next time. And if you missed this, then obviously you can see us on YouTube. Also, please follow us there. I will stop ranting, and we will just wait for Raphael to write this message in case there's a last minute question. Well, I'm just very happy that you were here, Raphael. Raphael says thank you for hosting, and Simon said it was very interesting, and like Raphael said, everyone have a fantastic evening, have fun, and we'll see you next time.